The Veltrani had ruled the storm world of Karus 9 for 3,000 cycles. Their crystalline bodies could withstand the perpetual hurricanes that scoured the planet's surface, and their magnetic fields allowed them to float effortlessly through the electrically charged atmosphere. When the human colony ship Perseverance arrived in their system, desperate and damaged from a catastrophic warp drive failure, the Veltrani Council debated for mere moments before denying them refuge. "Your fragile flesh cannot endure our world," High Curator Zethrain had pronounced, his translucent form pulsing with what might have been pity. "The storms would tear you apart. The pressure would crush your bones. The lightning would cook you from within. Find another world, soft ones." Captain Maria Chen had looked at her crew of 2,000 souls, engineers, farmers, children, dreamers, and made a decision that would echo through galactic history. "Then we'll make it endure," she had said simply. The Veltrani watched with detached curiosity as the humans descended anyway, their landing pods buffeted by winds that exceeded 300 kilometers per hour. They expected to witness a tragedy, perhaps document it for their archives as a cautionary tale about species who reached beyond their limitations. Instead, they witnessed something else entirely. The humans built their first settlement in the eye of a permanent storm formation, a relatively calm zone, 50 kilometers above the surface where the atmospheric pressure was merely crushing instead of instantly fatal. They called it New Haven, and it consisted of reinforced titanium pods linked by flexible carbon nanotube cables that could bend with the winds rather than break against them. Within the first standard year, half the colony had perished. The Veltrani recorded each death with scholarly interest. 17 crushed when a habitat seal failed, 32 lost when lightning struck a greenhouse module, 46 swept away when their transport was caught in an unexpected vortex. The humans buried their dead in small capsules that drifted slowly toward the planet's crushing depths below. And yet they adapted. Engineer Thomas Okonkwo designed pressure suits that used the very atmospheric density that threatened them, creating exoskeletons that drew power from the difference in pressure between their protected interiors and the hostile exterior. Dr. Yuki Tanaka developed gene therapies that increased bone density and enhanced cellular repair mechanisms, allowing the second generation to withstand forces that would have killed their parents. The children born on Karus 9 were different. They grew up in constant motion, learning to read the storm patterns the way ancient sailors read ocean currents. They played in the lightning fields, their suits grounding the million-volt discharges safely into collection batteries. They didn't fear the winds, they rode them. 20 years after the Veltrani's rejection, humanity launched their first sky glider from New Haven. It was a sleek craft constructed from materials harvested from the atmosphere itself. Compressed storm gases formed into aerogel frames, lightning-forged metals and energy cells that fed on the endless electrical storms. Pilot Sarah Chen, the captain's granddaughter, took it up into a Class 5 hurricane and emerged laughing, her craft undamaged. "It's beautiful up here." Her transmission crackled through the interference. "It's like surfing on the edge of chaos itself." The Veltrani began to pay attention. Within 50 years, human sky cities dotted the upper atmosphere of Karus 9. They had learned to predict storm patterns better than the natives who had evolved there. Human craft darted through conditions that even the Veltrani avoided, harvesting rare atmospheric compounds that formed only in the most violent tempests. They built factories that used the perpetual lightning as a power source, producing materials that were impossible to create in calmer environments. The greatest shock came when Ambassador David Okonkwo, grandson of the engineer who had designed the first pressure suits, appeared before the Veltrani Council. He didn't arrive in a protected vessel. He wore only a sleek pressure suit and rode the magnetic currents the same way the Veltrani did, his artificially enhanced body generating its own field. "We've come to discuss trade agreements," he said, his form crackling with controlled electricity. "Your people have wisdom about this world that we still need to learn, and we have techniques for storm navigation and resource extraction that might interest you." High Curator Zethrain, the same individual who had turned them away 7 decades before, regarded the human with what his bioluminescence patterns indicated was profound confusion. "You should have died here," he said. "This world was supposed to destroy you." David smiled, a very human expression. "With respect, Curator, you made the same mistake that countless species have made throughout galactic history. You assumed that because we didn't evolve for your world, we couldn't adapt to it. But adaptation is what we do. It's the only thing we've ever been truly exceptional at. He gestured toward the viewport, where a squadron of human skygliders performed an aerial ballet through a storm system that was spawning tornadic vortices. You were born to these skies, shaped by millions of years of evolution. We chose them, and remade ourselves in a single generation to master them. That's the difference between us. And now? Zethrain asked. Now we share them, David replied. If you're willing. The Veltrani archives record that this was the moment their civilization truly entered the galactic community. Not when they first achieved faster-than-light travel, but when they learned to see potential where they had once seen only limitation. Within a century, Karus 9 became known as the Storm Garden, a joint Veltrani-human world famous throughout the galaxy for its sky cities and atmospheric harvesting operations. Pilots from 100 species came to learn from the humans who had conquered the unconquerable, to understand how determination and adaptability could overcome even the most hostile of environments. And sometimes, on clear days when the storms briefly calmed and you could see the layers of civilization stretching up into the electrified clouds, the Veltrani would watch the human children playing in the lightning fields and remember their initial assessment. Your fragile flesh cannot endure our world. They had been right about the fragility. They had just failed to account for the will that made fragility irrelevant, and the ingenuity that turned every obstacle into an opportunity. The humans hadn't just survived Karus 9. They had claimed its skies and made them home, proving once again the old human axiom that had bewildered aliens across the galaxy. We don't survive in spite of the impossible. We thrive because of it.